Welcome to Ag Matters, covering positive agriculture stories from across Alaska on Big Cabbage Radio.
Hello, everybody. You're listening to Ag Matters. I'm your host, Ken Hoffman. I own a farm out here in Palmer called Matanuska Greens, and I also work with the Alaska Farm Bureau. I'm the director there. So if you're a farmer and you want to network with other farmers, it's a lot of fun. You could visit our website at alaskafb.org. And today in the studio, we have a farmer friend, no stranger to Ag Matters. So Brandi Jo Nyberg, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Thanks for walking through the rain to come to the studio.
Of course.
So how's your farm doing with all this rain and this cold weather recently?
Well, it's slow going. I think just like the rest of the farmers here in the valley and across the state, it's going to be a very late spring with a late planting season. And it might be a short season because of that. But yeah, with the rain and the slow melting in the moisture, it's still wet and the soil temperatures are pretty cold.
Hopefully April showers bring May flowers.
I hope so.
Sounds good. All right. Well, that's the farm. So with a little bit of a later season, is it going to affect your farmer's market? And that's what you're here to talk about today is your farmer's market. So I'm sure people online know about it, but maybe just give a little explanation, description of the farmer's market you run.
Sure. In addition to being a farmer, I'm the director for the Matanuska Community Farmers Market, which is held in downtown Palmer at the United Protestant Church parking lot on Wednesdays from 4 to 7 p.m., mid-June through all the way through the end of October. And we welcome everyone there. We love to see everyone from the community come to the market. And it's a farm and food specific market. So there are so many amazing artists and crafts in Palmer, and there are also so many markets for them. And so we stay focused on, we're kind of like a pop-up grocery store where you can shop directly from the farmer or the producer of the food. And you can get anything from carrots to cookies, sourdough to salmon, coffee to cauliflower or chicken, eggs to...
Eggplants?
There might be eggplants this year. There's fermented foods and honey and berries. Ken will be there some this summer with berries. So lots of different things and flowers.
Yeah, it's pretty special. So what's the first Wednesday that you guys have planned?
Well, much like last year, before the season officially starts on June 10th, we are having a spring pop-up market, which will be held on Wednesday, May 27th, same time, 4 to 7 p.m., same place. And there will, given the late season, there might be some spring greens, we'll see. But as far as the vegetable vendors go, they'll have a lot of plant starts. There will be flowers, and we'll have sourdough, eggs, honey, fermented foods, mushrooms, coffee. So there'll still be a lot of food there. There just might not be as much produce as people are used to seeing. But if you're a gardener, it'll be the best place to get plant starts all directly from the farmer.
So that's what makes the spring market different from the regular markets. You're going to have like plant starts and things like that.
Yes. And people seemed excited about the one we tried last year. So we said, let's make it a tradition.
Awesome. Who's providing the plant starts?
It'll be a lot like our regular market. We'll have probably all of the same veggie farmers. So Seldovich Farm will be there with lots of plant starts. And they usually have also just like potted house plants. And Zoe with Singing Nettle Farm will be there with a bunch of different plant starts. Myself with Sauntering Roots. Anne Corrine with Sun Circle Farm. I'm not sure if she's going to bring plant starts because she's already got so many flowers. Yeah. And she has some structures to have some early things available. So she might have some early veggies. And then Allie from Chugach Farm, we're hoping will also be there with a lot of plant starts. And she has some unique ones. I believe last year she had artichoke. So it's neat because, we all got plant starts, but usually people have different things.
Yep.
And then, an array of a bunch of different foods.
Cool. So for plant starts, you're not going to... The farmers are bringing the plant starts, so that means that these plants do grow in Alaska, I'm assuming. It's not going to be like pumpkins and spicy pepper starts. It's going to be stuff that is... farmer approved?
Farmer approved. I will say I do have spicy peppers. And I will have probably some squash plants available. But I try to talk with folks about, if they're buying a winter squash plant, like what that means here and, what kind of structures they have. And same thing with spicy peppers. If you don't have a structure, like a little greenhouse, they're probably not going to do well. But yeah, basically for, the plant starts that are sold at the market, the farmers just start extras of what they grow. Yeah. So I'm not selling you anything that I don't grow myself. And these are varieties, I'm just using myself as an example. Same for the other farmers. We've trialed varieties to find ones that do well in our climate and with our perpetual daylight.
Yeah.
So you're getting something that's going to do well.
Yep.
Given that you provide it the life that it needs.
Yeah, that's true. No, it's always a little bit bothersome when you go to a big box store. Like right now, Costco has Bartlett pears trees for sale, and it's fun to dream, but it's a bummer that sometimes people buy it and it basically wastes their money sometimes. So it's nice that the farmers are selling starts that are farmer approved, farmer tested. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. And it can be a little discouraging if you're a new gardener and you go to a big box store and you buy a bunch of things or varieties that don't do well here, and then you think it's yourself, but it's not you. It's that you need to grow things that do well here.
From a local expert.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So first market is June 10th.
And then the regular opening season begins June 10th, and we will be outside in that parking lot all the way through the end of September. And then this year, we're doing a market every week in October this year. Every year we keep having more markets. And in October, we transition to being inside in the basement of the church. So it's still the same place, still the same time, but instead of being outside, we move inside where it's a little bit warmer. And we'll see what the June 10th is a little on the earlier side, is just where it fell. And with a late spring, we'll see what that first market is like. But we do have farmers that have, the right infrastructure to start growing things earlier. And I think there will still be abundance at that first market.
That's exciting. Anything new this year that you guys are trialing? Any other special events throughout the market days?
Yeah, we have a lot of exciting things happening right now. Well, we do have a couple different new vendors this year, mainly a vendor that we had once last year, Living Flames, which some folks may know from other markets, or their stuff was in Bush's Bunches. A lot of fermented food, kombucha, honey, microgreens, eggs. So we'll have that vendor almost every week at market this year, which is exciting. And we will have our annual pie fundraiser again this year. It is scheduled for July 29th. So if you are a community member who loves that event and loves to bake a pie, get in touch with us, because all those pies are donated from community members. And then this year we are also hosting a couple meal at the markets. We did one if you came to our last market in November of last year, I think it was November 19th, we had a free community meal at the market. There's always option for donation if you have the means, but it's a really wonderful thing we're trying to do a couple times a season to just gather the community together and feed people with locally grown produce. And then we buy the rest of the ingredients in bulk from Bush's Bunches. They sell it to us for a very reasonable price. And those are the events that we don't have the meal at the market scheduled yet.
Yeah.
So you'll have to wait and see what days we choose.
Perfect. All right. And how when you guys schedule it, how are people going to know what day it is? Do you have a Facebook or a website?
We do. We have a Facebook and a website and an Instagram. In the winter, we don't post that much. But in the summer, we try to do a better job. We also have an email list.
Okay.
The email list is a great way to hear about special events or to know, especially if you're not on social media, but you still want to know what's going to be at the market this week, or what's coming up, or how do I donate to the market, or things like that. Getting on the email list, which you can sign up for on our website.
Is it a weekly newsletter throughout the season?
That's the goal. It's never happened yet. Usually there's a few emails through the season.
Okay.
And then it's very quiet in the winter.
Okay. Sounds good. So I know from your experience, you're also on the Farmers Market Association board. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So I'm the board vice president for Alaska Farmers Market Association, which is a statewide organization. In Alaska, we have to put farmers market in quotes and make it a little broader because, we have very unique communities and farmers markets compared to the lower 48. So we consider a farmers market to be, a farmers market, a farm stand, a CSA, or a specialty produce stand, because say, for instance, in New Halen, by Lake Iliamna, there's somebody growing food, but there's not a farmer. And so someone there, E&A Produce, they import as much Alaska grown as they can, and they sell it to their community. And it's super fresh compared to what's available in the store a lot of times. And I'm getting as much locally grown as possible. So that statewide organization supports, those types of direct-to-consumer outlets. And they also operate a lot of food access programs, which is very important to the market and our mission. A lot of you might not know, but we're not just a farmers market. We're a nonprofit, and we operate a lot of food access programs, a big chunk of which we're able to do through Alaska Farmers Market Association.
Okay. Tell us more about those programs.
Sure. So one of our most popular food access programs is our SNAP program. So we're a SNAP authorized farmers market. So if you've never been to the market and you have a SNAP card, You come to the market, you find the red welcome tent, you run your EBT card, and we'll give you tokens to spend. But we also have a SNAP matching program. So if you spend $40 on your SNAP card, we're actually going to give you $80 in tokens. Or if you spend $20, we'll give you $40 total. So we'll double it by up to $40. And this year there is we're calling it like a bonus $15. Maybe you don't have a lot of money on your SNAP card. If you run $1 on your SNAP card, you actually get $15. So, and that's thanks to funding from the Alaska Farmers Market Association.
Wow.
We're also a WIC, Women, Infant and Children and Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program certified market. So all of our produce vendors are eligible to accept those Farmers Market Nutrition Program vouchers that WIC recipients and seniors get in the summer, and those are for fresh produce. And we're right next to a senior center, so they love coming and spending their vouchers. We also participate in a couple different farm to food bank programs, which essentially allows the market to purchase produce from farmers that we then donate directly to the Palmer Food Bank, the Mat-Su Food Bank, Alaska Family Services Women's Shelter, Kids Cupboard, and we work closely with Alaska Pacific University's Alaska TILF program that does the same thing, and we coordinate together so that we can get the produce out on the same day to as many places as we can. And there's some other programs underway. We have some grants out because I spend a lot of the winter writing grants, so we'll keep our fingers crossed, but I won't tell you about those until we hear.
Sounds good. Well, with all of your experience with farmers markets, do you have any, let's call them like tips and tricks for shoppers at farmers markets? So maybe we'll specifically talk about the Matanuska Community Market. When should people start arriving? Where's a good place to park? Things like that. What are some tips you have for shoppers?
Sure. Well, at the Matanuska Community Farmers Market, there seems to be this craze that happens. People start arriving sometimes earlier than 3:45 and forming lines, and they feel like they have to get there immediately because the first year or two, things would sell out and there wouldn't be very much produce left the last hour or so. That is not the case anymore. Each year we've added another farmer, and some of our farmers have grown in production thanks to the market. So we still have produce through the whole market. So you don't need to get there at 3:45 or 4 o'clock and line up unless you're looking for a very specialty item, say like green beans maybe. And we have parking at the church, and there is street parking. And then we'll have better signage this year because one of the neighboring churches has said it is okay for folks to park there. And there's a few neighboring churches. So we'll make sure that we're going to make a lot more clear signage so that people know where they can park, because it does get, parking is a little hectic during that first hour. But again, you really don't need to get there during that first hour. There are still, I think there were carrots throughout. When carrots were there were carrots till the end at every market, because we've really upped the ante with produce to meet the demand.
Yep. Well, very good. Are there any new vendors this year that you want to highlight?
Yeah, we're excited to have Living Flames join us this year, and they also sell kombucha, and we're happy to have kombucha at the market again. And we are doing something that we're trying a lot of times now that we are growing and we have limited space. When a vendor with a new business wants to join the market, but we can't necessarily say yes to everybody, or, we already have an abundance of that at the market, we say, hey, we want to support your business and get you exposure in the local community. Do you want to do like a guest market? And so we have someone this year, Kale and Cookies Nutrition, who makes homemade prepared foods from local farmers and their garden. Is also like a nurse dietitian and does, pregnancy nutrition counseling and has all kinds of different services. They will be at that May 27th market. And so will Following Farms, who's located out in, I believe, Big Lake, and has an abundance of chickens with eggs. So, and they will be at that May 27th market as well.
That's exciting. Is there anything else about the market that you want listeners to know about, be excited for, look forward to?
Just know that we are always so excited to see everyone again. All the vendors, we miss the farmers market. As much as we're happy to have a break in the winter, we miss seeing everybody, and it's just such a beautiful thing to watch the community gather there. So just know that we're waiting for you, and we can't wait to see you, and we're here, looking forward to the season. And then also to remember that if you can't make the market on Wednesdays, we always hope to see you, but there are so many other places to buy local food as well. And on Tuesdays, there's a farm stand at Sun Circle Farm. On Fridays, there's Friday Fling. There's produce there sometimes. Bush's Bunches out in the Butte. They have tons of local options all the time if you can't make a specific market, because the most important thing to remember is to shop local so that we can have a robust and resilient local food system in our community.
That's great. Thank you so much, Brandi Jo, for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And looking forward to seeing you at the market.
Yes, definitely. And the berries.
Absolutely. Yeah. If the sun ever shines.
Yeah, it will.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. I'll see you at the market. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Ag Matters, covering positive agriculture stories from across Alaska on Big Cabbage Radio. Ag Matters is a production of Radio Free Palmer, recorded at our studios in Palmer, Alaska. For more information about this program, email manager@radiofreepalmer.org.